Before anyone talks about what's actually in the files, the target is already chosen.
Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein knew one another pretty well. The circumstances of that friendship and how it broke up are disputed, but they knew each other. As a candidate, Donald Trump said he would release the Epstein files. As president now in February of 2025, he said we're going to release the files, and he had this much touted event with Pam Bondi at the White House talking about releasing the files. But then in July, the FBI and DOJ said, there's nothing to see here. We're not going to release any more files. They didn't want to do it to release files. So when they actually do release files, and it's a fraction of what's available, and it's heavily redacted.
Absolutely, positively not. There were a number of photographs that were pulled down after being released on Friday. That's because a judge in New York has ordered us to listen to any victim or victim rights group if they have any concerns about the material that we're putting up. And so when we hear concerns, whether it's photographs of women that we do not believe are victims or we didn't have information to show that they were victims, if we need to redact faces or other information, we will, and then we'll put it back up. So we are in every way, shape, and form complying with the statute, which, by the way, is what President Trump has been asking us to do since before he was elected. There is nothing that he has to hide in the Epstein files. And even though there's repeated attempts by Democrats to paint him as being part of the Epstein saga, it's failing over and over again.
Notice the trick. No crime, no proof, just suspicion.
And it's a fraction of what's available, and it's heavily redacted. And then a day later, they pull material back. The facts that I've just laid out for you show why so many people are really suspicious.
In Washington, suspicion is enough, if the name is Trump. Democrats wanted a Trump scandal. What they got was a receipt printer with Clinton's name on it.
The reason that Bill Clinton's picture is in the Epstein files is because this has always been a story about Bill Clinton and not Donald Trump. We should call it the Clinton files, not the Epstein files.
So here, for instance, right, is Bill Clinton in the hot tub. That is, of course, Ghislaine Maxwell, also with him in the pool. This face right here is redacted, so would probably have to take a guess there. That is likely an Epstein victim, which is why that face was blurred. Here's another one, right? Same shot in the pool. Bill Clinton again with some girl sitting on basically his lap, redacted, wonder who that is. There's to be on a private plane. Here you have Clinton and Epstein next to each other at some type of, I don't know, themed party. And it turns out Bill Clinton is in like a lot of these photographs. Here's another picture of Clinton with a redacted female. A lot of these females, by the way, look like they've been pretty young. Bill Clinton's the one under fire.
1 photo is an accident. 2 is a coincidence. But 3 is a pattern, and patterns don't lie. If guilt is measured in photos, then one side has a problem, and it's not Trump.
Donald Trump. Turns out he was the one trying to warn the world about Epstein, not the other way around. Find me the picture of Trump in a hot tub with Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, by my knowledge, that does not exist. Trump was cooperating with investigators back in 2009. They didn't even need to subpoena him because he gave up that information willingly. By liberal logic, the way they've applied this to saying Trump is a pedophile. Okay, Bill Clinton is what, a super duper pedophile then? No, it doesn't have context. And give me a freaking break. The hoax is the way in which this is clearly being abused as a political weapon by the Democrat Party, merely as an anti-Trump smear. They don't care what's in the files. They don't care who's in the files. They're just like, hey, out of context picture, whatever.
Donald Trump answers questions every day from a curious media about Jeffrey Epstein and his knowledge of that. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, has never answered any questions. There's no substantive interviews. There are no press conferences where Bill Clinton's ever answering questions. We expect him to come in and answer our questions. If he doesn't answer our questions because of my lawful subpoena, then we're going to hold him in contempt of Congress. The history is not going to be very kind to him with respect to Epstein if he doesn't answer questions.
Clinton has denied any wrongdoing through a spokesman. They can release as many grainy 20-plus-year-old photos as they want, but this isn't about Bill Clinton. Never has, never will be.
Folks can reach their own judgments about anybody connected with this horrible, horrible case.